Hey loves, welcome to my channel. My name is Alestra. If you're new here, I'm also the founder of Positive Pathways. It's my HSV support community. If you would love to join the community because you need a safe space, you don't want to feel alone, you want to laugh, you want to cry, whatever it is that you feel like you need, click the link in my bio, hit where it says join Positive Pathways Discord. I would love to see you there. But today I wanted to talk about forgiving the person that gave me HSV, right? I know I get this question a lot. A lot of people struggle with forgiveness, and Lord, don't I know it? Like, whoo, whoo. I get it. I get it. I get it. This was a hard task for me. And the reason being is because the person, my former partner, is not remorseful. Not once did he apologize for doing what he did. Not once did he even acknowledge that, hey, I never disclosed to you. I've had this for years. And I knew that when we were intimate, I was having an active outbreak and I never said anything. And I knew when I threw it back in your face that no one would want to be with you because you have it. I knew that I was the one that gave it to you. I knew I did that to you. He's never done that to me, right? So it's even more difficult to forgive someone when they really just aren't remorseful, right? When someone's at least remorseful, it's just like, okay, I can find it in my heart, right? I can, maybe not today, but I can find it in my heart to forgive you. But when the person just doesn't care and they're showing you they don't care and they're like literally pretty much just spit in your face and walked off, it's hard. It's hard. I had so many ill thoughts towards him, wicked thoughts. I've never felt that way about anybody, actually. Like the way that I felt when I found out what he did to me and the way that he treated me, knowing that he was the one who did it, yeah, the thoughts were crazy. Like, I've never been that mad, that hateful. I never had rage fill me up like that. It was like a fire inside of me, but not a good fire. And I had to pray that off of me because I felt like I had something on me, right? Like something was on me because I was just, whew. Yeah, if we would have, yeah, it was bad. Like the way that I felt about him was bad, and I prayed a lot. I had to pray a lot. I did. And I remember, man, when was this? I don't even know what, gosh, when was this? I don't know, but I know I was watching online church. I was listening to online church on my way into work, the office, whatever. And because I usually listen to a sermon every morning, it helps me start my day. But I was listening to 2819, and Philip Anthony Mitchell, he was preaching about forgiveness. What was it? It was about restoration. It was something. I forgot the name of the actual, like, the sermon. But you know he's been in, like, Matthew for forever, right? So and I got the scripture here. So it was Matthew 18:21 through 22, and this is what it reads. It says, "Then Peter approached him and asked, 'Lord, how many times must I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? As many as 7 times?'" Because unlike Peter, 7 times is way, like, too many, too much for me. Like, after like 2 times, baby, like, you just want to do this to me. You just want to hurt me, right? Why am I forgiving you and you're not sorry? So I'm with Peter, like, 7 times, like, that's a lot, Lord. And Jesus responds to Peter, and this is what blew my mind. I said, because I literally, okay, so what I've been doing lately since May of 2024 is I actually journal my prayers, right? So the night before, I can't remember what this was, or like what month this was, but the night before, I was just like, God, just take this, these feelings away from me. Like, I don't want to feel this anymore. Like, release me from this. Like, free me from all these horrible feelings. I don't want to feel this wickedness, right? And I was like, do I just forgive him and just let it go? So this is this is the night before. I'm like writing in my journal, praying to God, talking to God, you know what I mean? And this is the sermon that he gives me. I said, because listen, this is what Jesus says back to Peter. He says, "I tell you, not as many as 7, Jesus replied, but 70 times 7. Why? He hurt me and he don't care. Like, Jesus, why? And see, the thing is, I prayed that prayer because I already knew the answer. But 70 times 7, Lord? that many times. And I was like, okay. No, in that moment, I did not forgive him, right? Because it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh, okay, you forgive me. No. It took some time, but I received what I needed to receive. I got what God was trying to tell me. He answered my question literally next day. He's better than Amazon Prime, I tell you. Like, listen. So then, if you go back to Matthew 6, hold on. Let's see. Matthew 6, 14 and 15. Let me find it. For if you forgive others their offenses, your heavenly Father will forgive you as well. But if you don't forgive others, your Father will not forgive your offenses. So I'm just like, okay. I have to forgive this man. Because I've done a lot. I have not done anything like he's done. And also too, if I know that I'm wrong, I apologize, right? I'm accountable for my actions. But I want God to continue to forgive me, because sometimes we fall into sin and we don't really know that we're sinning. So I want him to forgive me, right? For the things that I know and I don't know, the things I see and I don't see. I don't want him to say, I can't forgive you because you don't forgive your brothers and sisters. You still hold on to this in your heart. You haven't released him from your heart. And I wanted to release him from my heart, because forgiveness is very personal. Because the more we hold on to someone or something that's hurt us, you have love and then you have hate. But either way, they're strong emotions, and you know where they live, in your heart. And I didn't want him in my heart any longer. So it took me, a few weeks. I got to the point where I was just like, and I said it out loud. I was just like, I forgive you. And I said his name, because I was just sending him that energy. And I was talking to Dr. Eric Prince one day, and we were just talking about forgiveness. And he was just like, it sounds like you had a Joseph moment. Now, you guys know in Genesis, Joseph's family, his brothers sold him to Egypt, whatever, right? But that worked out in his favor. And he's basically saying, your story, that's all he did. You know what I mean? What he meant for evil turned out to be good for you, because you're helping others, right? God is using you to help others who are struggling with HSV. They don't have anyone to talk to. They don't have a community. They don't have support. They don't know how to manage their outbreaks. They don't know how to disclose. Their confidence is gone. They don't know how to rebuild it. Like you're helping these people do all these things, right? And he says, the true test of forgiveness is if you can not just forgive them, but you can help the person that hurt you, that sinned against you, then you know that you've truly forgiven them. And I said, oh, Dr. A, you gotta get on my phone. Because I said, oh, maybe I did not forgive this person. Maybe not. Because help who? Because he was just like, he hasn't come into himself. He's not a man yet. He was like, you might have to be the one that helps him become that man. I said, help who? He said, it might not be this year. It could be 50 years from now. He was like, but you might be the person that helps him. I said, oh no. I said, I'm not ready for this. I'm not there yet. But God has worked on me, you guys. And what I've come to realize is that the same way that I've made mistakes in the past, and I've hurt others in the past, I wanted them to extend grace to me and show me mercy, right? And forgive me for my actions. So in that same way that I wanted that from them, I needed to be able to give him grace and mercy, even if he doesn't necessarily want it, right? He's not seeking it. I don't even think this person cares, right? And I think that honestly was the reason why I held on to it so much, because if he would have just apologized and acknowledged what he did to me and how deeply he hurt me when all I did was genuinely love him. Like, I was doing wifey stuff for this man. Like, even when I talked to his ex-girlfriend, she was just, one of his ex-girlfriends, she was just like, oh, you was doing a lot. Like, you was doing a lot. Like, I was like, yeah, absolutely. Doing too much. You know what I mean? That man is spoiled. Like, any person that comes after me, goodness gracious. So I was just like, I just didn't understand. Me? You would do that to me? I'm like the most understanding person you know, and you did that to me? I could not wrap my head around it. And I couldn't wrap my head around why he just wouldn't apologize and just be done with it. We'll never have to speak again, but just apologize. You can't truly be this monster, could you? And that was like a internal battle that I was having, but I knew that I needed to forgive him. I had to also remember, y'all, that it wasn't just the flesh that I'm dealing with. I wasn't just dealing with my ex. I'm dealing with the spirit too. It's a spiritual warfare. Like, the enemy really tried to take me out. The enemy really tried to take me out. And I had to remember whose child I am, right? So let go of that hurt and that pain that this person caused you. It's bigger than just you and him, right? There's something that you can't see that only God can deal with, right? That you need to address during prayer. Like, let that person go. Because also too, y'all, listen, I'll say this. When you hold on to that pain and hurt, it stops you. Again, it kind of, like, you're trying to get closer to God, and it's like a roadblock, right? Like, it's like you're trying to go in for a hug, but you just can't, right? But not only that, it stops your blessings. And I didn't want, listen, he's done enough damage. Okay, he did enough damage. I didn't want him to stop my blessings. I knew what I created positive pathways. I knew what I wanted to do. I found my purpose. I could not allow my anger, pain, and hate for him to stop this from blossoming into what it can be. So much bigger than I can ever imagine, right? So I was just like, okay. And God got to a point too, he was just like, listen, he was very clear. Either you focus on positive pathways and you help the people, my children, or you sit here and you figure out how to make him suffer. Because I was going to take this man to court, you guys. I was going to take this man to court, but then I realized he ain't got no money. He ain't got no money to take. I'll be getting like $10 per month till like me and him are retired. Like, so I said, all right. So I was like, you know what? I said it again, because I remember I told you I had said I forgave him before. I said, okay. Because I've already talked to Dr. Eric. I was still struggling with some emotions anytime I got triggered. So I was just like, you know what? Just let it go. Just forgive him. Like, it's okay. Because if we're being completely honest, had he not did what he did, you would have never restored your relationship with Christ. You would have never started positive pathways. You would have never been offered new opportunities. In a way, he tried to hurt me, right? But in a way, he helped me. God took my lesson and my pain and turned it into a blessing. Like, he really did use my ex-boyfriend as a footstool. So I'm at a point now where I have actually forgiven him. Like, as of today, I have forgiven him. I have forgiven him. I have released him. Right? Now, I'm not going to lie. If I see him, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Just, residual. But no, I could have a conversation with him. I could tell him that I forgive him. I could tell him thank you. Because honestly, if he never did what he did, I would have never birthed the positive pathways. Never. It would have never happened. Or if it did happen, it wouldn't have happened the way that it did. And it would have been maybe a year or two from now. Who knows, right? But God used him to usher me into my new season, for me to actually find my purpose. I've always wondered like what I'm supposed to be doing. Because of this person, we're here, right? I did tell God, you don't have to keep making me your strongest soldier. Like, honestly, this is not a lesson I feel like I needed to learn. I feel like he could have did something else, but like, having a man give me HSV and stay in a relationship pretend like he didn't have it the entire time, I was like, it's not, I wouldn't have picked that one out. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have picked that out the hat. But whatever, it's God's will. You know what I mean? But I got into a place where I've actually forgiven him, and it's taken time. It's been up and down, up and down, up and down. But I can truly say, as of today, if I saw him, I would not feel any ill will towards that person. Because I'm just in a new season. I see myself in a different light. I see myself the way that God sees me, and there's no room for hate or malice in my heart for that person. And truth be told, like, I can pray for him. Like, I do pray for him. I pray that he's filled with the Holy Spirit, and that he eventually turns his life over to Jesus. Also too, and this is probably gonna sound really weird, but like when I think of him now, like these days, again, because people always ask, like, how did you get herpes? Like, how do you feel about, you know, your ex who gave it to you, blah, blah, blah. So when I think of him now, like present day, I think of, like, him as, like, a little boy that's just, like, searching for love, and he's scared of it. He doesn't know how to receive it. He doesn't know how to give it. And he's, you know, living a life full of shame because he's a narc. But, like, the only time that I've seen him be, like, super innocent is, like, when he would get home from work in the wee hours of the morning. He would, you know, take his shower. He would eat whatever I fixed him. He would come in the living room. He would turn on the TV and watch these, like, first off, he would order off my Amazon old movies, and he would watch them, and he was just being here laughing until like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And like, but it sounded like child laughter. You know what I mean? Like, he sounded innocent. And that's the only thing. So like when I think of him now, that's what I try to like picture. You know what I mean? And not picture the person that gave me HSV. Because honestly, you guys, just where I'm at in life, I'm good. Like, I'm good. God has me. He got me. You know what I mean? He got my back. Like, I got big God behind me at all times. Like, I don't worry about too much. There's not too much that kind of gets me like stressed out, right? Like, I'm good because God has shown me that as long as I'm obedient and I'm faithful, he got me. Like, he's freed me from those feelings I had towards my former partner. He's freed me of feeling down about having HSV, or being upset that I even got it, or thinking like, how did I even start talking to this person? Like, why was I even attracted to him in the first place? How did he get in my space? He freed me from all these thoughts. He freed me from worrying about what others have to say about me because I have HSV, right? Like, I'm good. And I want you all to get there. And when it comes to forgiveness, again, it's personal. It's very personal. It's not for the other person, it's for you. Like, my ex doesn't know that I forgave him, right? Like, if we cross paths and maybe he has a change of heart and he apologizes, I would tell him that I already forgave you. Like, it's okay. We're good, right? We're good. But I didn't have to speak to him. I put it out there, sent it. Hopefully he felt that energy and going about the day. But you don't have to talk to the person. And if you do decide that you want to do it in person, or send them a text, or call them, or write them a letter, whatever, email, and they don't respond, that's okay. Again, it's for you. It's so that you can start your healing journey, so that you can move forward. Because as long as you keep that person in your heart, harvesting all that hate and anger and rage and pain, you're going to hinder yourself from being able to move into the next season that God has already prepared for you, right? But I want you also to keep in mind, it's okay to sit in your feelings for a while and feel that. There's no rush. There's no like time limit. Like, oh, you need to get over it in like 2 months. No. It took me a little longer than 2 months, a lot longer than 2 months. It could take you a year. It could take you 2 years. But whatever the time, like, that's your time frame. This is your journey. But just know that once you've accepted that you've had a diagnosis, once you're able to forgive yourself, the next step would be to forgive that person and to release them. Because once you release them, you're going to feel so light, so free. And you're just not going to care. Once you do those three, I'm telling you, once you do those 3 things, once you accept that you have HSV, you accept your diagnosis, you come to terms with it, you forgive yourself for being in a situation to even contract it, and you forget that person, you'll literally get to the point where you just don't even care that you have it, right? You'll care when it's time to disclose, but you're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, I have HSV and you're not gonna do all of that. That's a temporary feeling that you feel right now, right? But you're going to progress and you're gonna get better. It gets better. I promise you it gets better. And it takes work. It does. But guess what? You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. I'll hold your hand. God got your back. Therapist on call. The handy dandy journal's always there for you to write down your feelings. Like, you don't have to do it alone. And I hope that you all have a supportive friend group or your family members, but you don't have to do this alone, right? And I don't want you guys to feel like, well, I guess I ain't gonna never get on my healing journey because I ain't gonna never forget it. Listen, I get it. I get it, because the way that my foot was on my ex's neck, I get it. I was not letting up. I'm just like, yeah, buddy. But no, I get it. I get it. But you'll get there eventually. No rush though. Like, your journey is yours. As long as you remember, your healing journey is not a linear process. It's up, down, all around, back and forth. Point A to point C, back to point B. Like, you know what I mean? It's a cycle. It's a journey, right? So you'll get there, and I'm praying for you.